Welcome. This is the day after talking duck sports. I am the War Duck, and so this is a big week because we had two basketball games and a football game, and so we're just gonna go ahead and start off with the football game. We had that matchup of USC versus Oregon at Oregon, and this game, I don't know. I thought this game would be a little more Oregon than it was, even though the end score of 36-27 didn't really show Oregon's dominance as it was. USC scored late in the fourth quarter with like 3 minutes left to get it to as close as it was, but this game really wasn't ever close. Even from the very beginning, Oregon just ran away with this game. They let USC hang around in this game a bit, and that just is what caused it to be as close as it was. Real quick, we'll take a look at a couple highlights here. Here's Tez Johnson's second touchdown, and we'll go ahead and show that here. Bo Nix has a nifty little spin move to get out of trouble. All right, so we'll show that one more time here. And so here's Tez Johnson right here. He's going to come down here and split this way, and they're going to kind of do a little rub route sort of. And this guy right here just gets lost and totally loses track of oh, sorry, up here. No, wait. Let me go back there. I messed it up. Okay, so Tez goes here. Here's where it is. This guy totally gets lost as Tez comes and splits and drops down to the corner. He is all alone over there by himself. You see the guy catching up late. Tez had a beautiful, I think it was a 72-yard touchdown earlier, and then right after that, Troy Franklin had the second 80-some-yard touchdown pass, and that's what made it 14. So here we go. Let's see. We'll go one more with a Bucky Irving here. Then their little so they got called on the celebration penalty, so they weren't taking any chances. They were just going to run off the field and not have any of that. So let's see that one more time. Hand off to Bucky down low, does Bucky stuff, and gets into the end zone like Bucky does. All right. So like I said, this game, when you look at it, it wasn't as close as the score showed. It really wasn't. And we'll just go ahead and look at the stats here. First down, Oregon had 26 first downs, but that's not indicative of the thing because I think Oregon had 2 first downs and 2 touchdowns at some point in the game in the very first quarter, and Oregon was just kind of dominating. And part of when you watch this game, what happened was every Oregon drive was very easy. Every USC drive seemed like it was a chore to get down there, and Caleb Williams had to make some exceptional improvisation play to get the score. Third down efficiency, Oregon was 4 for 9. Wasn't great, but they scored pretty easy, even though this third down looks like it was not the highest percentage. USC was 6 for 12. Both of them were 1-1 in fourth down. Rushing yards, 140 rushing yards to 73. Passing yards, 412 passing yards to 306. 552 yards per game. Oregon records 3 sacks. No interceptions for either team. Oregon punted 1 time. Okay, does that catch it? Oregon punted 1 time, which means USC really never stopped Oregon, and then Oregon went for the fourth down thing. Here is the problem for Oregon and continues to be the problem for Oregon. 13 penalties for 120 yards. That's very unacceptable. That has to get fixed. You can't play good teams and win every single time when you have 13 penalties for over 100 yards. I know this has been a thing. Some of these penalties, one of the penalties was the score celebration on Terrence Ferguson because he spun the ball. I don't know. It was kind of a ticky-tack one. And so we'll go ahead and check out these box scores. So Bo Nix is 23 of 31, 74%, 412 yards, 13.3 average. He accounted for 4 touchdowns. Bucky Irving had 19 carries for 118 yards. He had one scary spot where he came out limping. He got hit on the shin or something, and they looked like they had a guy on each side like helping him walk, and that was scary, but he came back in later, scored, and ran a few more hard runs, so I guess he's okay. It just was a little bit scary right there. Bo Nix only ran one time, and Troy Franklin had 2. So Troy Franklin has 2 receptions for 147 yards. That seems... Well, maybe. I don't know. I thought he had more than that, but maybe not. Okay, so 147 yards, 1 TD. Tez Johnson, 7 for 126 yards, 18 long, 2 TD. I thought he had... Oh, yeah. So he had a 77-yarder, and Troy Franklin had an 84-yarder. Terrence Ferguson had the 22-yard. Bucky Irvington at 18. I mean, God, look at these passing yards. Just 412 yards. I can't remember the last time Oregon had 2 receivers go over 100 yards. And then, of course, to have 2 receivers go over 100 and your running back go over 100, you just completely dominated. You held USC under 100 yards rushing. But what can you say? Caleb Williams can improvise and he can put the ball on the money. He just doesn't have the team to back it up. But I thought Bo Nix did what Bo Nix does, played a heck of a game, very efficient, and Oregon got the win. And like I said, if you look at this box score, right, you got 13-7 after the first quarter because Oregon went for 2. And then 7 in the second quarter, they scored another touchdown, and to Oregon's 9. And that's going to be a sore spot for people because there was another touchdown in here that Oregon, again, didn't go for, or that went for 2 and didn't get it again. A lot of people are upset about that. Blanks USC in the third quarter, Oregon scores, and then USC scores 2 times. Missed the 2-point conversion to try to get close with like 2 or 3 minutes left. And then Oregon had the ball, drives all the way down the field, and then takes the knee. So, I mean, Oregon could have scored again and made this the point spread a little bit different, but they just didn't need to. And no sense of taking any chances, and pulling a Miami and fumbling or doing anything like that. But two glaring things with this game that Oregon has to fix, and they have to fix it now, is penalties and the kicking game. The kicking game was not great. I think they missed 2 kicks. I think Camden. Oh no, maybe it was, I thought. So Camden Lewis only missed 1. So okay, he missed another kick that should have been a chip shot. I thought there was another one, but maybe not. So, anyway, that kicking game has got to get better. It wasn't a difficult kick. He just missed it wide right. And Oregon may need to kick a field goal at some point, and you got to be able to count on your kicker when you need him. And so penalties have to get fixed, and the kicking game needs to be addressed, whether he needs to do some meditation or whatever, because he's been traditionally a really good kicker. I don't know what his struggle is this year, but I don't know. It is what it is. All right, so we are going to take a look now at basketball. Oregon faced Georgia, and that game man, Oregon basketball is going to be fun to watch. Oregon basketball is going to be very frustrating to watch also at the same time. And so right now they're a little injured. And so they have some guys out. And because they've been a little injured, which seems like this happens every single year, they just get a little injured and before the season starts, and then the first half of the year they're always trying to get healthy. So Dante played the very first game, and he goes, he was a little bit sore in his knee, so he came out a little bit. But he gets 21 rebounds, 16 points, has a double-double, and I think 21 rebounds may be like a record or something like that. I know it's his career best, but amazing rebounding effort. And so, but Oregon doesn't shoot particularly well, but they held Georgia to even less. So Oregon goes 42% from the field, 40% from the three-point range. That was much better to watch because Oregon last year was really, really bad in three-point shooting. So Oregon getting to 40%, that's better. I would like to see that a little higher, up into about the 45 range, but that's okay. The shooting percentage at 42%, I would like to see that just a little bit higher too, but Georgia played some good defense, and it was the very first game. So, but look at this rebounding edge. 53 to 37. That is a huge, huge rebounding edge. And offensive rebounds, 17 to 8. Assists, 13 to 11. Basically, in the skills. What surprised me here was Oregon getting outblocked. That was kind of surprising. 15 turnovers. Need to bring that down a little bit. But Oregon's Achilles heel right now is their free throw shooting. 14 out of 29 for 48%, 50% free throw shooting. That's I don't remember the last time Oregon, a Dana Altman team, was that bad at free throws. That's really, really bad, and that's going to hurt Oregon down the stretch, especially in close games, because teams are going to foul them. Oregon's not going to make those free throws, and then the other team has a chance to catch up late in games. So that's going to be a problem, need to be addressed. So from watching this Georgia game, sorry about that. Prime had a little attack there. So watching this Georgia game, Oregon's fun to watch, but they need to address this field goal thing. Sorry about that. So so Oregon's got to address this free throw shooting game. So let's take a look at this box score real quick. And you got Dante, played 27 minutes. I know that's a little heavier than really what they wanted, especially with his sore knee. And it cost him in the second game on Friday because Dante didn't play. So Dante, 6 for 12 from the field. Nate Biddle, 5 from 13 from the field. Nate Biddle has 9 rebounds on his own and 13 points. He almost had a double-double. So we almost had 2 guys with double-doubles. They had Bartholomew. He struggled really bad in the beginning of that game, but he scored 2 big buckets down the stretch. Man, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. Zarzula? There's a couple new guys on here I don't really know. He came in. He played good defense, but his offense struggled a bit. And then you had Kuznard that was doing really good. And then Brendan Rigsby, man. Brendan Rigsby is super fun to watch. He had 16 points. He was all over, draining the threes. He went 2 for 3, but they were big time buckets. 2 for 2 on the free throws. But he was 6 of 9 from the field. I thought after Dante and Biddle, I thought Rigsby was the best player on the field after that. So it was good to see, but Oregon only has 8 guys healthy playing these games. So, yeah, all right, let's address the second game here. All right, so for the second game, you had Oregon and Montana, and that game was fairly close until late. And they had a couple guys that just were really good, but I thought Oregon again struggled on offense, and then that just allowed the game to get close. And this again is where Oregon started to falter again. So let's take a look. So Oregon shoots sub 42%, 41% from the field, but they held Montana to 37%. Oregon 3-point dropped all the way to 30%, but they shot 23 of those and just couldn't really make them. Although Montana wasn't any better, they were 5 for 20. But the free throws again, Oregon shoots 57%, a little bit better, but not by a whole bunch. That's still, even at 60%, that's still about 20% below where you want to be. And a team this good, it's hard to understand. With a team with a lot of shooters like Oregon has, it's hard to understand how that free throw percentage is so bad, so low. But that's something that has to get addressed. Now, in this game, Dante did not play in this game, and Oregon still dominated the rebounds, 43-29. They had 11 offensive rebounds to 1. Oregon has 13 assists, 5 steals, 5 blocks, 2 turnovers. Very clean game as turnover-wise, but again, Oregon's offense on this day just wasn't really moving like it should, and part of that reason was the missed 3-point shots. There was a lot of 3-point shots that Oregon took that never had a chance to get rebounded, and those quick shots are probably going to drive Dana nuts. Let's take a look at this here. You had Kwame Evans Jr., 2 for 10. Nate Biddle, 7 for 14. Brendan Rigsby, 4 for 9. Bartholomew, 4 for 8. And Kuznard, 2 for 8. And then Aquendo, 4 for 6. Aquendo was all over. He played really, really good. I thought his defense and his presence and his offensive mindset, he was very aggressive to the hole, and I really liked that. Between Aquendo and Rigsby and Bartholomew, that's pretty much what carried Oregon in this game. Nate Biddle has 17 points to lead all scorers, and he only had 8 rebounds, though. He had Kwame Evans that came in and had 10 rebounds, played a nice game that way, but his offense needs to pick up a little bit. Overall, I think Oregon, they're going to be okay. They probably get themselves to the tournament this year when they get a couple guys back and get healthy, but they have to fix that free throw shooting. That's just not gonna cut it. That's 12 points they left out on the field. Even if you're at 80%, that's 8 points that you left out on the field. And that gets you into the 80s. I don't know. That's gonna be a problem for Oregon all year until that gets addressed. I heard Dana Altman had all those guys in the gym that he was basically making them shoot 50 more free throws or something like that every time. But I don't know. I don't know why this team struggles with with the free throws when they have a bunch of shooters on this team. I know they're still struggling in that 3-point range. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I think that'll get better. I think this is the low point at the beginning of the year. They haven't all played together because there hasn't been a lot of guys healthy, which affects your practices, because if you don't have a bunch of healthy guys, you can't go against each other that way. And so when you get into live games, it's a little bit more pressure. It's a little bit different. And so I know that'll affect your shooting percentages a little bit, but Oregon's 3-point shooting and that free throw shooting has to get better this year. Everything else, I think, will come along, but we'll look and see what they do next week. So with that, we're out of here for now. Thanks for joining me, and we will catch you next time.